In Ukraine, local officials have reported that a series of Russian rocket attacks on the southern city of Zaporizhzhia has killed at least 7 people. They say rockets hit residential buildings before dawn approximately 24 hours ago and then again several hours later. Rescuers were working for hours afterwards to recover people trapped under the rubble. Our correspondent Paul Adams joins us from Zaporizhzhia. Paul, what more can you tell us about these attacks?
Yeah, Tanya, that death toll has now risen to 11. 8 of them, people were killed in this one 5-story apartment building that was hit in this series of strikes yesterday morning. 3 others died in another building nearby. We were there at the site of the larger apartment building late last night, and rescue workers were still on the site combing through this huge pile of smouldering rubble and twisted metal looking for more bodies. And there is a feeling that there are more bodies to be found, because this was a residential building right in the heart of the city, not a place where people felt that they were in any danger. Sirens go off in this city all the time, but people have got used to that, and they don't necessarily go down to their basements or their air raid shelters every time they hear them. And so probably a lot of those apartments were full when they were hit yesterday. It was another anxious night for the people here in Zaporizhzhia. There was at least one explosion, fairly large explosion, just after midnight. We understand that that was some kind of what the local officials are calling an infrastructure target, perhaps some industrial site somewhere on the edge of town. This is quite an industrial city. And then also, rather alarmingly, we heard a drone flying low and slow across the city just shortly after that. That is a sound that is increasingly alarming to the people of Ukraine, because the Russians have been using Iranian-supplied drones, so-called kamikaze drones, to attack a number of targets, both civilian and military, in Ukraine in recent days. And so the sound of a drone over Zaporizhzhia for the first time last night was a fresh source of anxiety and a sense that people here have, that as the military, the Ukrainian military, makes progress on the battlefield, Russia is lashing out in all sorts of unpredictable ways.
Well, yes, I was about to say, in the broader, more positive context from the perspective of the Ukrainian military, this is very difficult situation for Ukrainians to be in, Ukrainian civilians, thinking that they're safe, and it turns out they're not.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, as I say, this is a city which is relatively familiar with the sight and sound of war. I mean, the front lines are not that far away. They're just a few dozen kilometers to the south of here. That is where Russian-controlled territory begins. We hear sirens, and I think I can hear one right now in the distance. We heard one about half an hour ago. Those things are pretty common. The sound of explosions on the edge of town are fairly common. But to be hit right in the center, to have civilian buildings, homes and apartment buildings hit, that was new yesterday, and that was a deeply shocking thing. We could see the people standing around looking at the rescue workers going on. They were stunned, and they were absolutely furious and clearly apprehensive that they could be in for more of this kind of thing, as Russia is forced to kind of respond in any way it can to the setbacks on the battlefield.
Well, thanks very much indeed.